Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Two
Two
Blonde
Blonde
Bimbos.
Bimbos. I stole your welcome to this time. Okay.
I'm excited about today's episode because it's question or things, assumptions that you guys, the audience, has sent into us.
It's going to be a
And
fun one.
I have some ones that I didn't expect people to say. I'm sure you have some interesting ones as well.
Yes, I do. Would you like
Okay,
to
who wants
start?
to go first with these?
You go
Okay,
first.
let's see. This is you were afraid to try hats as an accessory at first. Someone's probably asking this because I wear hats like all the time. No, I was. I've loved hats. I've worn hats since I was a kid. I was never afraid of hats. I think some people are afraid of hats though. I've had friends who are like, I don't look good in hats, but truly think most people look amazing in hats. And so no, I was never afraid of hats.
I would venture to say that I doubt you're afraid of trying on any kind of
This is
fashion
true.
item.
This is true. Very, very true. Which yours?
All right. She says, or they say, who I have no idea. I just assumed that I love the Twilight movies, but I never read the books. I feel like
Okay.
it's kind of I read all the books in college, and one of my scariest, uh, not scariest, but most embarrassing like memories is me in my dorm room spending, I feel like the better part of like half an hour explaining to a boy I had a crush on, like the whole plot to Twilight and like um why Edward was amazing for like not trying to have sex with Bella. Like this memory haunts me because he was like standing in my door frame, which is the universal cue that you kind of want to go.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on my bed like being like, that's why he cares about her so much. So I was a big Twilight book fan. I read the whole series. The movies are cheesy, and I think that I had moved on past the series like when they were all released.
So you read all the books.
Yes.
Okay. I think I read one maybe. I didn't get I watched all the movies though, but I didn't read all the books.
You gotta watch and roast them every year, I think.
Okay, next up. You have Sagittarius in your big 3. Actually no, I do not. I have Aries, Pisces, and Scorpio.
Ooh.
Those are my 3. Whatever that means, take it as you my sun is Aries. My moon is Scorpio, I believe, and my rising is Pisces. Whatever it's I haven't, the 3. Those are the 3. What are you, Rosie? Do you know yours?
I'm Cancer Sun,
Yeah.
Cancer Rising, Aries Moon,
Wow, okay.
which
Cancer,
in
Cancer, Aries.
my moon is also in my house of career, so that's where my Aries really takes shines. And I can like I'm a little secretly competitive person, but everywhere else I'm like crying and crushed. So yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to like not get too juicy too soon so that you
Okay.
guys stay hooked, you know?
You gotta keep the
I
best
like
for last.
keeping it light. You had a goth phase as a teen. You know what? As much as gothy as I look right now, I was so afraid of being the fat goth girl because I think that that was like a cliche,
Oh,
was to
okay.
be like the only, and I think that I was in that stage of like my body acceptance where I still wanted, I was like, no one knows that I'm fat. I can keep it a secret. Like I'm wearing a big sweatshirt over a skirt. Nobody can tell. That was not true. And I think that I had yearnings. I watched tons of like I love Interview with the Vampire. I love, I listened to a lot of like the Smiths and the Cure and stuff like that. But I definitely did not express myself visually because I just didn't want to be like the fat goth girl. I
Got
do
it.
that. Is that like a cliche?
I mean, maybe I did you have like were you just more what did you dress like? Like a little nerd, like a book nerd kinda?
I had black hair and I wore lots of black eyeliner and I wore black nail polish, but I would wear like normal clothes. So
Interesting, okay.
I was like gothy, like you could tell that I definitely wanted it, but I
Yeah.
also like wore like I don't know, like stuff, but it's also because of what I was had available to me. I didn't discover Torrid until my senior year. Like I wore
I
Old Navy.
I was so weird about Torrid for some reason. I actually could not I wasn't able to fit into Torrid. I wasn't that size, but my mom would go in there and I don't know why I was just so weird about Torrid. Obviously, I think Torrid's changed, but there was just something about it. I was like, I do not like these clothes. Why is my mom wearing these? But I definitely had I don't know if there's a difference. I think there's a difference between goth and emo.
Yes,
Goth
I
is
do
like
too.
very I feel like that's much more intense of a look. It's very much more dark. I had like more of an emo kind of like punk phase, which I feel like a lot of people have.
Yes.
It's kind of typical. So, well, now we know Rosie what didn't want to be
A fat goth
a
girl.
fat girl.
But now I would love to be a fat goth girl every day of my life.
Living your true life.
Truly, look at me. Like,
Black
hello.
hair.
And like my
Um,
purple.
I like your purple today.
Thank you
Okay,
very
let's
much.
see. You have a lot of shoes, specifically boots. This is true. I actually love shoes more than clothes. So, and I actually don't get to wear my boots as much as I like because I live on the West Coast, but boots are my number one. If I see a boot and I like it, it's game over. Boots, Charlie knows. Charlie actually has sought after boots for me. I'm a boot fanatic.
I have a follow-up question for you.
Yes.
Where would you suggest to our listeners go for the best low-end cost-friendly boot and then the best high-end like coveted save up for it boot?
Ooh, I feel like if you're talking about a specific store, okay, lower end, I feel like just DSW in general has good boots. I feel like that's where I go where else would I say? I mean, even Target has like good boots. Like even those places I feel like have great things that are like dupes now. I have shoes from Target that have last me like 5 or 10 years. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
But a high end, I mean, let me just say I'm a fanatic on Chloe boots. Fanatic. Those are my number one. They're booties. They're chic. I remember I bought my first one when I was living in New York City. I have 3 or 4 pairs. They are just also I have a pair of Balenciaga booties and let me just tell you, when you just put there's something for me when I put on a shoe and I feel like a rock star, that's it. It doesn't matter if I'm wearing a t-shirt and jeans. If I have a fucking killer boot on, I feel like I can take on the world. And I remember when I bought my first Chloe boots and I was walking the streets of New York City and I felt like the coolest person. People were like, "I like your shoes." I was like, "Oh my god."
Ah, well,
But
you
I
are
would
the
say
coolest
those are
person.
the 2 brands that I say like really go after.
You heard it here first,
People
folks.
say Stuart Weitzman, but honestly, they don't fit people's calves, so fuck off.
I'm just gonna read this one because I think it's a compliment and I needed to hear it today.
Ooh, do
So
it.
they say you are more powerful than you believe.
Facts. You are.
I think that is true because in the rare instances in my life where I have been like, I believe in myself 100%, I know I can achieve XYZ, it happens. You know what I mean? And I'm
That's
sure that's true
amazing.
for so many people listening. What about you, Ashley? What is there was there a time that you finally were I feel like you are a steadily confident person because you have been through so many things in your life and have
Yeah, I
achieved so
feel
much in
weird
spite
saying
of
that
it.
sometimes because people always ask me. There's actually a follow I can do a question after this that kind of falls into that, but I kinda had to be or else I would have gotten ran over.
Mhm.
So even if it was, like, fake confidence, it almost turned into real confidence at an early age because I faked it at such a young age. By the time I was, like, 9, 10, 11, 12, and on, I just was confident. Even if was getting bullied, which I got bullied a lot, I just kinda always I'm very thankful for that. I feel like I always knew my power, and I always, like, m made that known even I just had to.
Yeah.
So, okay, follow-on question on that. Someone said you weren't always confident about your body type. And I will say honestly, there were times when I didn't like a certain aspect, like everyone in the world, like, oh, I don't like the. But to be very honest, like I didn't ever have a hatred towards my body. I really did stay pretty confident. Again, I can't tell you why. I don't know the secret sauce to that, because I was very much bullied in school at an early age. I was called fat, and people told me. Well, one thing I will say is I wouldn't wear shorts for the longest time because in elementary school, some person told me I was too fat to wear shorts, and I was tiny,
Yeah.
tiny. It didn't matter if I was tiny or fat, anyways, but the kids were mean. And so for like my whole life until recently, even Charlie, when I met him, he was like, "Why don't you wear shorts more?" And I just hated wearing shorts. So I will say I was confident. The only thing I will say I wasn't confident was probably like my legs were my least favorite thing. And so
Mm.
it took a lot of building up to wear like shorts. And this is even weirder is I didn't like wearing shorts, but I liked wearing skirts. I don't know. It's very strange
Huh. I mean, it's so funny how things like that can impact us for so
for so
many
long.
years.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think it's because when you receive that information, you were at that age where your brain was a sponge.
Mhm.
And so everything has soaked up and it's gotten into your like your entire code
Yeah.
of right and wrong
Yeah.
and all of that. Okay. This is somebody says you don't shop at Lane Bryant.
Hmm.
Well, I think I got into a conversation with Nicolette Mason over DMs. And I think I someone was like, "Why don't you ever show Lane Bryant?" And I was cheeky and I like showed a picture of like their current offerings, and
Sure.
I wrote back like, "You tell me why I never show it on my
Yeah.
Instagram." And Nicolette messaged me and she thought what I said was funny. And I was like, yeah, like, fuck Lane Bryant. It's so ugly. And she was like, you know what? I think that Lane Bryant is necessary and has its place, but you and I are just not their
Their
demographic.
demographic. Yeah. For sure.
And I think that especially when it comes to plus size women, like that concept is so foreign because the way that a plus size shopper used to exist, now it's better, not great, but better.
Mhm.
We could shop at like two shops. So the our style was just plus size clothes,
Mhm.
and now we have so many other options that you can pick and choose and be like, yeah, I don't really shop there. It's not for
Yeah.
me, as opposed to like, fuck this, this sucks. And you can look at a lot of stores and think, gee whiz, why haven't they redesigned? And what's beautiful about that is that there are so many more options that like I think that there is a more conservative, um, classically dressed, like maybe like, office casual type
Mhm.
woman who does shop and love Lane Bryant, and maybe a more mature woman than me, and I'm a little bit more fun and trend
Well, that's the thing
focused.
is, like, it's funny that someone would ask you specifically, like, "Why don't you share that?" Like, that's, like, your like, you should, like, kind of
Yeah.
insinuating, like, because that's not your style. Like, that's not where I see you shopping, like
No, I think I run. It's so interesting to be a creator, especially in the plus size space, because I think that when we all kind of started these platforms in the plus size community, I think that I initially felt a big pull to represent all spaces, like represent every single store
Mhm.
so I could show what was available to everyone. But as I've grown my account, I've realized that I'm not just a plus size resource that's like, here's where you can go if you're big. I now have started to feel the freedom of like, what do I like as a creator? Because I think that that's what thin women are afforded. They're allowed to be curators of their own taste,
Mhm.
and you follow them because you like their specific taste. It's not that they are meant to represent an entire demographic of
True.
people.
Yep.
So I've recently felt more freedom in like what stuff do I love? And if you follow me, you probably just love the same stuff, you
Yeah.
know?
That is a very good point. I'm so fascinated that someone said that. Let's see. Your friends are your family, and you are a really great friend because of that. I mean, kind of. I don't have a lot of family. I have my sisters, but honestly, my friends are my family. That's how I've kind of made it. For a lot of you guys that may be new listeners, I don't speak to my parents. So my friends are like very much my go-to, and I do feel like I'm a good friend, I think.
I feel to me, and I'm not here to roast any of the question asked. I'll roast some people. But this person, I feel like this is an innocent assumption. However, I think that it's kind of like you've had to make your friends your family out of necessity. I disagree that that's what makes you a good friend. I think what makes you a good friend is that you are very intuitive to others' feelings,
Yeah.
and you know how to make people comfortable. And then on the flip side, I think you know just the right amount to push people into their to a zone where they're a little uncomfortable, but they'll benefit and flourish
Yeah, that's what my
through it.
my sisters actually say to me, so I really appreciate that actually. Thank you,
I've
Rosie.
benefited from it, so thank you. Okay, let me see. I'll find one that like I have to find the one that like ticked me off. I'm ready to get into
Oh, I
that one.
have one too, so you go and then I'll go.
To me, I like don't care if I make you angry, person who said this, because this one to me feels so contradictory of itself. It's a
Okay.
two-parter. They use two slides for
Oh,
this
geez,
one.
okay.
You've got a bit of a woo girl in you. I think being near you at a pub in a group would be exhausting. But one on one would be chill. I get strong improviser. She says improv, but I know she means improviser, not like other girls vibes.
What does
Well,
that mean? That's very loaded.
I have to break this all up because to me, I'm just like, my first question is it sounds like you do not like me. Would love to know why you are following me.
It's so
Secondly, actually, I don't need to know that. Jesus. So the first thing that they say is that I am a woo girl.
what does that mean?
So a woo girl to me, and maybe we could look this up on Urban Dictionary.
I'm
Let's
gonna
do
look
that.
this up.
But like I'll tell you my um so I think a woo girl is the girl at the bar who's like, woo, yeah, like
Ooh.
party.
When used to refer to a woman over 35 conveys they're superficially fun and may be genuinely nice yet lack depth. Wait, what the fuck is this?
Oh, it's from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, behavior, drinking.
Behavior is usually spotted by shouting woo whenever A, drink shots, B, ordering another round of drinks, shouting at pedestrians while
Oh my god, that's
traveling.
definitely not you. Oh my god, that's the opposite of Rosie. This is making me laugh.
I think this is so funny because I am very much like, keep the attention away from me.
If anything, I'm the woo girl. Like, what in the world?
Yeah.
What in the world is happening?
I think so. That's the first one. You've got a bit of a woo girl in you. I think being near you at a pub or in a group would be exhausting. Follow up. I ain't at the bar. I'm at home in my
Also, I would
pajamas.
like to know why would I can't even imagine you being at a pub and being exhausting. Like, that's not a thing. Like, I've never been around you and been like, I'm fucking exhausted. Like,
I think
that's so weird.
I do get chatty. When I'm with other comedians, I think that I will rapid fire talk, but I feel like I do leave space for other people. I try to engage people in a conversation. I feel like I'm hyper conscious because like one of my biggest self critiques is that I don't let other people talk. And but I don't think that that feeds into like super high energy, like I'm embarrassed to be around her
Yeah, no, that
kind of
doesn't.
a vibe. I grew up with those personalities in my home. So I became very conscientious. Okay, let's go to the second part of this assumption.
Oh my
One on
god.
one would be chill. I think that it's
I
almost the
think one on
flippity
one
flop.
or yeah, I feel like both are chill. Like I don't it's a very also the weird thing is to say that you're annoying almost when you're in public, but you're chill when you're at home. That seems very like
I'm more annoying at home and privately with my friends, I would say. I think when I know you and the wall has come down, I'm a goofball and I'll act a fool
Yeah, for
around you.
sure.
Um, okay, and then she gets strong improv, not like so basically like I'm not like other girls, like I'm a pick me. Well, I love women, and I would say that for the past like 10 years, that I had done improv, it's been a few years that I always tried to start like girls only teams. I was on a team called The Coven. It was all women. I
Love it.
I was on a team called Hello Mallory that we named after like a Babysitter's Club book. I think
Okay.
I've oh and then like my first ever improv team was called the Band Wreckers and it was all women.
Dang.
So I really love other women. I have one or two situations where what I don't love is loving other women with blindly. I think I like
Yeah.
women neutrally.
Yeah.
So I like people as individuals, I will say, but I do skew more towards hanging with the gals because if I see a woman who makes shit work and I think it's shit, I'll
Yeah.
say it. Just like I would if I saw a man making shit work. I feel
Exactly.
like
That's
I
such
would
a
say it.
funny, like, assumption, though. It's, like, very loaded. It's like, wow. I
I know. I just feel like I think it's interesting to I wonder where this person like got all this big
Yeah,
big
as someone
ideas.
who knows you and has spent time with you, I would say very much not any of that. Personally. Actually, to follow up with this, someone messaged and something about us and said, "You both were bitchy to each other, but that's when you also had a friend in each other." And I was like, "What? Uh, We were never bitchy to each other."
I think that's like one of the defining characteristics of this friendship is how loving and like kind it was from very early on. And like I think we were very walls down, like I like you. I want to hang out with you, like kind of
I just think
fangirly
it's
in a
funny
way.
that that person said when that's when you also had a friend in each other because we were bitches to each other. Fuck no. If someone was a bitch to me, I'm gonna be a bitch back and I'm probably not gonna hang out with them again. I think we were very open and honest and we when actually when we first met, one of the first things we did was sat on my couch and literally ate food and did nothing and like chilled and we had a great time.
Honestly, that's like one of my favorites. I think that like
It's
I feel like
literally
we
the
are
best.
TV friends.
Oh my
Uh
god, like literally that's very hard to find. By the way, if you find a TV friend, you hold on that person. There it's hard to find TV friends. Okay, someone said kind of on that note, you give so much that you have very little left for yourself. I used to do that. I used to give a lot to a lot of people, including mainly like family and just people around me. I'm also very empathetic, so I feel a lot of people's feelings very deeply. And so I was very much a therapist to a lot of people. And I actually love that. I actually thought about going back to school for that because it was something I love so much. But I've learned boundaries and I've learned that I need to be there for myself. And I hit a point where I had never had I had anxiety my whole life, but I had it kind of, simmering. And then it kind of took a turn when a lot of chaos happened and I had my first panic attack. And that
mhm,
was when I knew that I was giving myself that to everyone around me and I wasn't giving anything to myself. So then in the last, I'd say like 3 years, I've learned to like set boundaries and really take time for myself and do things for myself. So I used to be like that, but not anymore.
that's massive. That's
Yeah, it
big.
was huge. It was a big thing.
That's an ongoing lesson for me.
It's
but
hard.
but
It's people don't realize boundaries are hard.
they really are. Yeah.
Okay, you're up for
I'm
questions.
up for questions. Let's find one. I think that like half of this time I'm just scrolling. All right, this is a great one because it's very relevant to like what I'm into right now. They say you hate Rory Gilmore. I've been rewatching Gilmore Girls as it is fall, and I don't know that I hate Rory Gilmore. I just no longer am intrigued by her. And that's probably to do with the fact that like you guys, I'm a 33-year-old woman and it's so weird to rewatch Gilmore Girls because I haven't like been like the rest of the world who has rewatched since the original air dates. I feel like I watched it back when it was on, maybe a little bit after and into high school, and then I took a gap, you know. And now I completely relate to in this order, Lorelai, her mother Emily, and then Rory. So,
I have a confession.
oh,
I mean, you're probably gonna disown me. I've never seen fucking Gilmore Girls.
you know what? I don't disown you. To each their own, but I
Do
think,
do you think I'd like it?
yeah, you know what we should do when we're on our little trip? We should watch the pilot together.
I'm all about watching shows with people, so like sign me up.
I
We
think
get
that
popcorn. Bro, oh my god.
it's very fall. I feel like if it's not for
Yay.
you, it's not for you. But I think that like it's very cozy. It's in a New England small town. I think that
Cute.
I like to live
Cute.
vicariously through them at this point.
I really think that I would like it, especially but I've heard some of my closest friends literally have raved about it. And I feel like I'm always looking for new shows. And so even if they're older shows, I'm all aboard. So I'm gonna need to watch this with you then.
What's your cozy show? So like, and that's not comfort show, but a show that you would consider cozy that you anything you watch in the fall time.
Ooh, in the fall times. I mean, I used to rewatch Gossip Girl a lot. I also we actually I think I told you this. This is a random one. We just started watching Modern Family not that long ago, and I actually love that show now. But I would say Gossip Girl is probably like my fall. Oh, and also I like to watch oh shit, Broad Broad City. Broad City
Yeah.
for me is cozy, as weird as that is. I love the setting. It's obviously in New York City, and that is one of my favorite shows ever.
What um so for me when I watch Modern Family, I love it because like nothing truly bad happens. So like there's and that's the same with Gilmore Girls. Like I love a show that like there's not like a season where somebody has like
Sure.
cancer, you know.
Mhm.
It's X, Y, and Z. It's sort of just like it's cruising along, nothing truly bad
Yeah.
happens. And I think we should do God, I don't think we have time for it today, but I was like we should do a who are we in Modern Family, like a quiz.
That's hard for me because I feel like I'm a couple people, but I'm definitely Charlie's definitely Phil Dunphy to a T. If you see Phil, that is
Yes.
Charlie. That is 100% Charlie.
That's funny. I've always
Um,
said that I think Houston has some Phil Dunphy energy as well.
what's the gay couple? What's the not the redhead? I forget his name in real life. What's his name in the show? Why am I blanking?
I
I
don't
give off
remember.
very much his energy as well.
I recognize all their faces. I don't know.
Him and a little bit of Phil Dunphy's wife's like how she's kind of controlling, but I feel like Charlie said a good point about that show is you can kind of find a little bit of yourself in every character,
Hmm.
which is very true.
It's always very fun. Little sidebar. When I was in Los Angeles, I would say working as an actor, trying to be a working actor, that was like one of the biggest auditions that you could get. And it was an audition that I like simultaneously really wanted and simultaneously was like, please don't let me get a Modern Family audition because the show had won so many Emmys, right? And
Mm-hmm.
specifically for their writing, that it was one of those auditions that you had to show up and be, and I'm using quotations here, word perfect. Meaning if you missed like a small word, so if you said this is a nice day as opposed to it's a nice day, you would be like cut from the audition
Wow.
because their writing was so like, what made that show so valuable.
Yeah.
Even I feel like it's a combination of the writing and the chemistry that the audience had. So the big news on the street was like, you got to be word perfect for Modern Family, or they're gonna cut you.
That's a lot of pressure.
So it was.
It is a great written show, and I feel like it's just very lighthearted. And lately, I've been trying to look for more like lighthearted shows, which they're working on a tangent now. But the new murder show with Martin Short and
We're
Steve
watching
Martin,
this. Only Murders
we
in the Building.
I will say Selena Gomez holds her own, and I'm shocked. Like, not just I just didn't know how she would act in the show. I actually, me and Charlie loved it. We loved it. It was just we want more lighthearted, just funny comedy, like just kind of loot. Like we need more of that, and I like
This
it.
is this is an opinion I've always had about Selena Gomez's acting style, starting when I first saw her on Wizards of Waverly Place. I feel like she watched a lot of Jennifer Aniston, and who hasn't? I think that her
Mm.
delivery, some of her like her comedic rhythm reminds me so much of Jennifer Aniston's kind of like dry sensibilities on
It's
Friends.
it is very dry. I noticed that because I even said she had a certain way of acting. I said that I was like watching her, and it's very some. She's kind of like emotionless sometimes, but very like
I'm
she's
trying to
making a joke, but she's like it's
her
very interesting.
her voice is very in the front of her mouth and she doesn't really move her jaw very much. I'm trying
Yeah,
to get it.
that's such.
I'll get it eventually, but I have to like hear it. But she doesn't emote with her mouth a lot. I really
Mm-hmm.
like the sound of her voice. Have you watched Selena Gomez's cooking show?
No, I have not. Charlie actually said he liked the sound of her voice. He said it actually does sound a little old timey at times as well.
Yeah, I hear that for sure.
No, is her cooking show good?
It's what's great is that there's this new slot of like onslaught of cooking shows where the celebrities that are on them don't have to be good cooks. They can just like kind of be shitty at it and it's
Yeah, yeah,
fun.
yeah.
And what's great is it's very pandemic energy. We watched it like middle of the pandemic and it
Of course.
soothed us a lot. And
Yeah.
she basically does a Zoom call with a very famous, well known chef, and they cook the same recipe together over Zoom.
Okay.
And she has a lot of challenges and a lot of difficulties. And it's just it's very fun because she does not pretend to be good at cooking, and her struggles are real, and she's
I like
very in the
that.
moment, and she's so cute. I like her. She
She's
seems
very
fun.
cute.
Yeah.
Okay, your next up question. I think we have probably a
I'm
couple more questions and then we gotta like
we
say
gotta
ta ta for
bail.
now.
Okay, I like that one. Let's see here. That woo girl one got me good, y'all. I'm gonna live with that
We
forever.
will never forget the woo girl comment.
Maybe I'll act a woo. I'll act a woo girl on our big trip.
You should, and I should film it.
You've got the tea about some famous people.
Oh, someone said that.
Yeah. So the tea I have about famous people is that the people, and this will, I hope, make everybody, especially people who might be an aspiring performer, etc., the people I knew in my kind of like class of wannabe actors, wannabe comedians, etc., the people I know who are massively successful, like, you know, have their own TV show, are
Mm-hmm.
on very famous comedy TV shows, have had Netflix specials, have been in huge Disney movies. All these people that I've had like some, like I was blessed to be in their light for a momentary thing. There's two things that all these people have in common. And it's they were always very kind and humble, and that they were always extremely hardworking. So to me, that's the T
That's the tea.
on famous people. Um, and it's great because I knew some fucking dicks, and they are either like me, social media famous. So I guess I must say that I'm not a hardworking, nice person. Um, Oh, or they're not working. And there's also plenty of nice hardworking people that I know that haven't gotten work, but everybody I know who has made it and has become a household name, or someone that you may recognize, or is about to become a household name because it looks like, people have got projects in the work. They were always the people that I always looked up to as a peer and was like, damn, they are working hard. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not limited to like, memorizing their scripts or like working on their craft. That's like she had 3 jobs,
Yeah.
and she made sure to go to every single one of them, and she took on additional work that she didn't need to do. So, that's the tea.
Hard working, baby. My question that I have is or the assumption, you're the chaotic one and Charlie is the organized one. So this can seem as true, and it partially is, but I call it coiffed chaos. I've called it, I've trademarked that. That is a thing I've been saying for 8 years now. And Charlie is very organized in the sense of like, he loves taking the time to really like label make. He's shown organization tips on my stories. I am a little bit more chaotic energy. I think that's a lot with a lot of creative people. They kind of are in the chaos of stuff. But there's also a weird way where I'm organized and he's not sometimes. I can't explain it, but like I can get cleaned up quick. Like I can organize stuff quicker and make it look pretty, and I'll know where stuff is, even if it's not like perfect. But he has to have everything perfect, and if it's not, then it's just like a fucking tornado, and he will get lost and overwhelmed. So it's like a very good balance. I mean, from the outside looking in, he probably looks like the more organized one, but I feel like it's
Yeah.
kind of like this weird mesh of
I
stuff.
had that assumption. So, I'm in that group. I apologize. Oh, look at you and your poppy,
I
drinking your
found
poppy.
I finally found him after
Where are
months,
they?
guys. No, I think he is more organized. Like he wants to take time, but I'm quicker. Like I'm
Yeah,
like quick. I also work really well in chaos.
me too.
Um I kind of like thrive in the chaos, so when everything's a little too pretty, you just got to like fuck it up a little bit. That's what I say.
This one, I really like this assumption about me.
Ooh.
You hate skinny hoes.
Oh, damn.
I
Oh,
think
damn.
one of the greatest misconceptions about I think being a visibly plus size person in the public eye, or like in like make creating content and like showing plus size clothes, is that I
Mhm.
hate thin people or have some kind of personal vendetta against them. I love people of all sizes. particularly if I was to choose a body type that I love the most out of human beings, it is short people. I love short people. I don't know if that makes me some kind of terrible, like, if
I'm a
that's like,
shorty.
you are shorty. I think I gravitate towards petite people. It brings me joy. I've always had like a friend that was like 5'4" and down.
I
But no,
actually have always usually have taller friends, which is so funny. Except
I
I have one really good friend that is equally my height, which is shocking because no one is ever my height. I am 5 foot, for those that don't know.
I think that if I was limiting my friendships or to only other plus size people, I would be doing myself a great disservice to share my personal circumstances with people and helping them become a little bit more empathetic of others. Because I've
Mm-hmm.
had several friends tell me that, like, honestly, I didn't think this much about fat people until like you became friends with me and told
Very
me
true.
things that you've experienced. And then sometimes I think being friends with only other fat people has led to weird um, self esteem issues for me, you know, like bizarre comparison things. Um, I think that, like, if we're thinking too much about our body types, regardless of if you're thin, if you're fat, I don't want to spend that much. Oh, I'm knocking my mic around. My mic around. I do not want to spend that much of my life thinking about the exterior, because
Yeah.
I don't think that friendship is necessarily going to last. Like, the people that have impacted my life and have stayed with me the longest are people whose like souls have jived with mine. And above all, the the criteria I look for most in a friend is like, can you keep the fuck up? Like, can we like get along
Yeah.
conversationally?
Yeah. It's kind of like a friendship can only go so far if it's kind of like dead conversation and you don't really have common grounds. I think that's the same with any relationship, but um, let me scroll real quick. I'm gonna do one more question.
Yeah.
And then if you want to do one more or whatever. Um, you usually take the high road and are the bigger person, but know the low road is so satisfying. This is a fact.
Yeah.
I literally always have taken the high road my whole life. It's been all just the fucking high road for sure. But the low road is very satisfying. I don't know because from personal, I've never taken the low road, but the feeling of knowing that just inner feeling, you just know that satisfying feeling. But I haven't done it, but I know it would probably be satisfying. But you know what? Take the high road, baby. Karma's a bitch.
It's exactly. I was gonna say this. There was a girl online, and I think that like Houston's roommates had beef with her, and she had recently in that calendar year put out a play that I didn't care for. And I feel like I wouldn't have been dishonest about it. But like after I saw some kind of like online argument that she was having with one of Houston's roommates who I felt were very sweet and like harmless guys. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that this woman had found feminism in like the last 5 years of her life and was like just like so, you know, excited about it, that every man at that point was kind of like a sexist and she was excited to pick fights. And I think that I just like fucking roasted her online. And what's crazy is the fallout that occurred after that for me sucked. Like, and I was so blunt. I was like, this is the worst piece of fucking theater I've seen in my life. Like, there were so many talented people in this play. Like, I had no idea like what like business they had being in this play. It was just like, it was so unnecessary. Like, did I mean it? Yes, I did. And I think that it was a small, like I was in a really dark place in my life, and it felt nice to take control of the situation and be a dick, and it was not fucking worth it because I
It's always that the shit that comes after is always fucked up. Like it's always,
yeah, because I cut off like friendships because people took sides, and then I didn't feel like
yeah.
I could even go into like certain buildings, like certain theaters. I'm like, I can't go here anymore. It was not worth it. It is not worth it to take the low road. It feels good as shit. I felt a high that is unmatched for 5 seconds. So I would say that maybe it's akin to heroin being really shitty. It's like akin to like
Yeah.
you feel that hit, and it's you could only feel that hit again by continuously being shitty to
Continuing to do
people.
it. Yeah. Yeah, which does happen to people.
And
It does
then you
happen. There are shitty people forever. That's an interesting
um,
way of putting it, though. I do feel like I'm very much a believer of like the universe will take care of it, and you just keep on trucking, taking that high road, baby. That's how I
oh,
feel. Last
oh,
question or last assumption. Your
what
turn.
kind of a vibe should I go for? What do you think, categorically?
I mean, I'm very like two opposites. Either go super lighthearted or go like, wow, that's fucked up.
I'm lighthearted because this is I just want to like this I just want to speak about this subject for a second.
Okay.
It says my favorite Taylor Swift album is 1989. No, that is incorrect. And actually, this corresponds to the question I just like talked about with this
Hmm.
girl. My favorite album is Reputation because whenever I did this move where I talked shit about this girl publicly, and then it caused like everyone to hate me, even people who also hated her, hated me. This Taylor Swift Reputation album had dropped,
Oh, okay.
and so I listened to this album every day.
Jamming out,
Just
jamming the
like
fuck out.
I am the bad girl. I don't care. And then it has like its healing properties as well. And today Taylor Swift put up a very interesting TikTok that
You
was like
sent it, and I was about to say, I really hope you can
it
say it.
definitely alluded. It was a TikTok, and she was like, I've really enjoyed making music for you guys during the pandemic. She's playing her guitar, and then she showed, and Taylor Swift fans know that this woman does not present things without
Yeah.
intense things. So
Yep.
then she showed 10 clips of concerts, like stadium tour shows, and everybody's been waiting on Taylor Swift 10, her 10th album. And mama, we need that studio album. We need that big banger, like good ass pop songs. So maybe we get an album.
I
Maybe,
would really, the minute that happens where she announces tour, we will
yeah.
be going, we will be living our best lives. You know what's funny is I feel like a lot of people don't, before we close out, talk about the folklore album that she put out. And I feel like there's like, I don't get too much into it. I feel like there's like some weird, like people hate it or people love it from what I've read. But I actually really love that album. It's like kind of like moody. I don't know. I love it.
Do you want to have a Taylor Swift day, like an episode
What
where
is
we go
Rosie's
crazy?
video has been disabled due to internet quality issues? The video is still being recorded. Okay, well,
No
I just
problems
said.
on my end. No problems on
Okay,
my
well
end.
then it's still recording. Sorry guys to interrupt. What were you saying, Rosie?
I think we should do a Taylor Swift episode or something like that. And yeah,
100%.
when the tour happens, we need to decide which American city we'd like to buy those tickets.
Oh my god, I know.
Maybe the
I know. I
city.
really I cannot wait. I have you been to a Taylor Swift concert? I have not.
I have not. Like I told Houston, I told him I was like, "Hey, just so you know, I will absolutely deplete our savings $2,000 worth to like
Oh, front and center, best tickets, go all out, live
it
best life. I'm
yeah,
excited.
I'm such a massive fan. I am sad that I didn't go to the 1989 tour. I didn't go to the Reputation tour.
I
And
was
so,
planning on it. I just never got around to it. I really wanted to go. I had said it like every time. I was like, I really want to go to her concert and then just never did it.
oh yeah, we're fucking going.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this assumptions video. We will do more interactive videos like this because we really like having you guys answer questions and send in some funny stuff for us. So now you guys know a little bit more about us.
Yes.
Well, we love you guys. Like, subscribe, comment, give us reviews. And we love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye bye.